Today, we are diving into what is, honestly, a masterclass in communication during a crisis. We're looking at a message that was sent to a user base that was right on the edge, and we're going to break down step by step how it so cleverly turns all that frustration and anxiety into, believe it or not, unwavering faith and excitement. Right out of the gate, the message hits the biggest fear head-on. Is this problem gonna last forever? With just one sentence, it cuts through all the technical noise and offers instant emotional relief. And you gotta understand, this isn't just an opening line, it's the foundation, the single promise that the rest of this entire message is built on.
So, who exactly was this message for? Well, it went out to the founders and users of a brand new system called VictoryWithAsh. And its goal is super clear from the get-go. This is all about managing emotions and setting expectations during what was, let's be real, a very messy technical launch.
Now, it's so important to see that this is not just a technical update, not at all. It's a very carefully crafted piece of crisis communication. The main goals here are 1. Calm the panic, 2. Change how users see the problems that are happening, and 3. Build back their faith in the project's leader and its guaranteed success. It's all about keeping users on board by managing how they feel.
Okay, so before you can start offering solutions, you have to show people you actually get the problem, right? And that's exactly what this message does next. It jumps right into acknowledging the very real struggles its users were going through.
And look how specific they get here. They don't just say, hey, we know there are some issues. No, they list the exact hair-pulling frustrations that people were dealing with. Verifications failing, uploads crashing, endless try-again messages, pages just refusing to load. This is a classic way to build trust. It shows people that leadership is actually listening.
And then, boom, the focus shifts from the technical problem to the emotional one. It basically gives direct orders on how to feel. Don't worry, don't panic, and please don't lose hope. This is a direct intervention, trying to put a cap on the anxiety that all these tech glitches are causing.
This is just a brilliant bit of reframing. See, these aren't bugs, they're not failures, they are refining moments. That choice of words is so powerful. It makes it sound like these problems aren't a sign of weakness at all, but actually a normal, even necessary part of building something truly great.
So the problem has been acknowledged, it's been reframed. What's the next logical step? Well, you have to introduce the solution. And in this story, the solution isn't some patch or a bit of code, it's the people who are in charge. You build confidence by showing just how hard you're working. The message paints this vivid picture of the leader, Ash Mufareh, and his tech team just grinding, working day and night. This creates a story of these dedicated heroes fighting on behalf of the users to fix everything.
And there it is. That's the key emotional hook. This one sentence creates this powerful, empathetic bridge between the leaders and the users. It's basically saying, you're not screaming into the void. We see you, we hear you, we feel your pain. It's an incredible tool for building solidarity.
And that feeling of solidarity then gets expanded out to the entire user base. You get phrases like, built for all of us, and this huge promise that no one is left behind. This turns a bunch of isolated, frustrated people into a single, unified community that has a shared mission.
And now we get to the big pivot. After dealing with all the pain of the present, the message completely shifts everyone's focus toward this incredible future reward. This is where the real motivation starts to kick in. What you're looking at here is pretty much the core deal being offered. All the current struggles, they're just temporary, a passing moment. And in exchange for putting up with it, the future is promised to be extraordinary. It's this powerful contrast that makes the current pain feel small and makes that future reward feel absolutely massive.
So how do you take a vague idea like an extraordinary future and make it feel real? Well, you give people a roadmap. The message turns this fuzzy hope into a crystal clear, step-by-step process. It's like a prophecy of your own personal success laid out in 4 simple, certain steps. It makes the promise feel real and like it's right around the corner.
And there's that reframing technique again, this time with a really powerful metaphor. This difficult time isn't a dead end, it's just a test. And that word implies that this is a planned, temporary challenge that has a purpose, and that there's a guaranteed destination waiting for everyone who passes.
All right, now we come to maybe the biggest and most important rhetorical jump in the whole message. This is the part where the project stops being just a piece of tech and turns into something so much bigger. I mean, listen to that. With that one statement, the whole project is elevated. It's no longer just some software you're trying to log into. No, it's a movement.
It's a historic new chapter. It's a global transformation. The stakes just got raised to a whole new level.
And this really breaks down that crucial shift in identity. A system, yeah, that can be buggy, it can be annoying, but a movement, that's a cause. That's something you belong to, something with a higher purpose. By reframing the project this way, it also reframes the user's role. You're no longer just a customer, you're a participant in making history.
So after painting this huge, grand vision of a global movement, the message brings it all right back home with one simple, direct phrase. And you are part of it. That's the clincher. It confirms that every single user has a special place in this incredible story, and that just cements their loyalty. And the closing slogan just ties it all together perfectly. It literally merges the leader's success, victory with Ash, with the community's success, victory with all of us. The message is clear. Our fates are tied together. We win or lose as one.
So at the end of the day, this was never ever just a status update. It was a carefully built narrative journey, one that was designed to take a user from a place of technical frustration and deep, personal doubt all the way to a feeling of renewed hope and a sense of belonging to something historically important.
Which leaves us with one last question to think about. At its core, this whole message is an appeal for patience. But by framing that patience not as just a practical thing, but as an act of faith in a much larger vision, what is it really asking of its audience? It's a fascinating thing to consider, right? It's about that blurry line where a user base ends and a following begins.
Today, we're going to break down a really powerful piece of motivational messaging. It was sent to the users of a system called VictoryWithAsh, and we're going to look at how it takes user frustration and, well, turns it into genuine hope, transforming a technical glitch into something much bigger, a shared mission. So, it all kicks off with a feeling we've all had, right? That sinking feeling when the tech just isn't working? This message hooks you right in by tapping into that universal experience. It basically asks a question you're probably already screaming in your head. Is this system failing me right when I need it the most?
And here's the opening line. Notice how it goes straight for that feeling of frustration. It doesn't try to pretend there isn't a problem. Instead, it acknowledges it head on and immediately says, hey, it's going to be okay. You know, that's such a classic and effective way to connect with people who are already annoyed.
This brings us right to the first part of our breakdown, how the message really leans into validating what the user is going through. It's all about creating this feeling of a shared struggle.
Now, what's really clever is how the problem gets framed. It's not a total failure, it's just temporary. The whole idea is that this is just a hurdle we're going to get over together, not some kind of dead end. Reframing it like this is so important because it's all about lowering that anxiety and shifting your whole perspective.
And then, boom, they get super specific. This is what makes people feel truly heard. By listing the exact problems everyone's having, the failed uploads, the verification not going through, the message is basically saying, we see you. We know exactly what's going on. That kind of validation is absolutely key if you want to rebuild trust.
Okay, so let's move on and see how this all builds up. Once they've got you on their side by acknowledging the problem, the message pivots. Now it starts talking about the solution, but it focuses on all the hard work that's happening behind the scenes.
This creates such a powerful image, doesn't it? It builds this whole story of a dedicated, tireless team that's battling this thing for you. And that phrase, day and night, that's not just a small detail. It's meant to make you picture this heroic effort, turning the tech team into your personal saviors. And right here, the message starts building empathy going the other way. It's not just about your frustration anymore, it's about a shared mission. These points drive home the idea that this is for everyone, that it's a collective push towards one common goal. A simple technical issue is now about community. It's about a principle. All right, so we've covered the present pain and all the hard work that's going on. Now the message takes a complete turn and starts painting this amazing picture of future success to build up that hope. This comparison is just a brilliant persuasive trick. It puts the current situation, which they frame as just a test, right up against this incredible future destination. It totally reframes the struggle as just a necessary, temporary step on the way to something way, way better.
And this is where that vague promise of a better future gets super concrete. Just look at how these three promises directly answer the frustrations we saw earlier. Verification failed? Nope, everyone will verify successfully. System buggy? Nope, everything will be smooth. It's a perfect, direct answer to every single problem. And listen to the language they use to describe this future. We've gone way past technical jargon here. The final outcome is framed with these powerful, almost spiritual words. It elevates the goal from just, a working system to something deeply personal and life-changing, a release of your blessings.
So, after all the reassurance and these huge promises, what are you, the user, actually supposed to do? Well, that brings us to the final section, which is all about defining your role in this whole journey.
This is the main instruction, and it's not technical at all. It's completely emotional, and it's in all caps. It's this powerful command designed to just cut right through all the anxiety. It's telling you that your #1 job right now isn't to keep hitting refresh, it's to manage your own mindset.
And this really drives that point home. Your most important job here isn't technical. It's to keep the faith, to keep that fire of hope burning, even when things are uncertain. The message basically says, hey, let the dev team handle the action. Your crucial role is to be a hopeful believer.
And here we go. This is the grand finale of the whole message, the ultimate reframe. A glitchy system has now been completely transformed into a world-changing movement. This gives your patience, your belief, a much, much higher purpose. You're not just waiting for a web page to load anymore. You're part of a global transformation.
So as we wrap this up, what we've seen is a really deliberate, really powerful strategy to move an entire audience from a place of frustration to a place of faith. It starts with empathy, it pivots to making a big promise, and it ends by reframing a tech problem as a shared destiny. It really leaves us with a fascinating question. Through the power of words and belief, when does a system stop being just a tool and actually become a movement?